they take about 30 minutes to reach their target.
So do theirs, right?
Missile warning, this is Beale. Confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high. Roger, we've got 32 targets in track and 10 impacting points.
Roger, understand. Major Reinhardt, we have a massive attack against the U.S. net at this time. ICBMs. Numerous ICBMs. Roger, understand. Over 300 missiles inbound now.
Welcome to Harambe Burger.
Can I get you a jungle shake?
Silly bastards.
A jungle shake.
Jungle
So what's in that jungle shake? They're like all natural almonds, cacao.
Cacao.
Hey! Oh, come on, baby. Don't die on me now. Oh.
Me and my son watched It, the first new It.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't realize how much of a ripoff Stranger Things was of the story of It.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's a ripoff of a lot of things.
It's a Stephen King TV show.
Yeah.
The only reason why they did it that way is because they weren't hired to do it. Mm-hmm. So they're like, watch this shit, motherfucker.
Right.
We're good.
Yep.
You just have no fucking idea.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They fucking killed it.
Yeah.
And now it's gone 4 seasons and it was more popular than the fucking movie.
Yeah.
I think Stranger Things pretty much took Netflix to the next level. They really did level up after that shit.
Yeah, but I'll say that they haven't leveled up in a while.
Nah.
They've kind of dropped, in fact.
Right. Bright was a pretty cool movie too.
Yeah, but that's been a while.
Yeah. Should have been more of those.
Yeah.
But they really haven't done anything. Bandersnatch maybe, but I never watched it.
But that's
That was a long time ago too.
That was a year, more than a year ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And in this world of streaming, you got to keep up with the Joneses, brother.
Yeah, in this world.
So get at me, Netflix. Let me put you back on the map, little Johnny Hallelujah.
Johnny Hallelujah. Okay, you ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I ready?
3, 2, 1, go.
I want to confirm, is this an exercise? Roger, copy. This is not an exercise.
Podcast now.
Yes. Welcome back, everybody, to the Drop Culture Podcast, the sultry voice of the piece of pop culture that you forgot about or missed. And what we did, me, Brock, and to the left side of me on this table.
Yeah, I'm Dan.
What we do is we find that little piece of drop culture that we refer to as drop culture, cram it all up. And if this is your first time listening, thank you so much for listening. This is, we passed 150 episodes not too long ago, and we've been doing this for about a year and a half now. On Mondays, we have our quick cast, and then on Thursday, it's the actual Drop Culture Podcast, and that's what you're listening to today.
That's right. And 152 episodes now.
Yep.
This is the 152nd. At Drop Culture, we always believe in quantity over quality.
Yes.
That's really what we do best.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, you know, I thought of this whole little series that we're going to do because we're going to introduce a new series.
Yeah.
Because in honor of Thanksgiving, Could you say in honor of Thanksgiving? I don't know.
Sure.
We're going to have
you could twist that any way you want. Sure.
Yeah. This
I
is
can make that argument for us
Yeah.
if we need to, yes.
It's going to be a different kind of set of movies. We usually do our Dropping Deuces series, which is number 2s.
Yes.
Because who does number 2 work for? Us.
Yes.
100%. And if you're not familiar with those, we've had quite a run of number 2s.
Well, we've had, a couple runs.
Yeah.
Couple
runs.
Yeah, a couple runs.
And they left some streaks.
Yes.
Yeah, streaks in
Yes.
our heart. Not
right.
only our shorts. So this month we're going to concentrate on what I call Thankskilling. Now, it's not the crazy turkey show.
Yeah, not the almost turkey horror blood death movie.
Weird.
Oh yeah, it was strange. We're not talking about that.
No, we're actually talking about post-nuclear apocalyptic made-for-TV movies.
Yeah. So yeah, if that's your niche, you're in the right place.
You're in a good spot right here.
Because it's not necessarily it's apocalyptic.
Yes.
Because these are movies where it happens.
It happens, and then again, that's why I kind of stumbled over my words there, because it's during the apocalypse and like right after the apocalypse.
Yes, I would say in the immediate, before and after for a lot of these movies. But so I would say it's during the apocalypse.
It's an apocalyptic movie.
Absolutely.
Which, you see a lot of the post-apocalyptic ones like Bronx Warriors, 1992 and shit, Mad Max, but you don't really see the apocalypse. But what happened, because again, being kids in the 80s, we did grow up at the tail end of the Cold War.
Absolutely.
We weren't ducking under our desks, and ducking for cover and shit like that. We didn't run drills. We ran just say no drills, So
we had bomb drill or shelter drills.
Never did.
Yeah.
Never did. Even though I used to live in Tornado Alley, we didn't even have tornado. Well, yeah, we did. we just went to the hall.
Yeah, you did that in elementary school.
Yeah, pretty much. It was
and
like
after that, they're like, you're dumb.
Yeah, you're gonna
You're
be
a
dead.
fucking junior high kid. Nobody likes you.
You
If
don't
you
even
die,
like yourself.
it's okay.
You're in junior high. You don't even like yourself.
Get rid of these fucking teenagers.
Worst years of my life.
I liked junior high. It was cool.
Fucking hated it.
That's what everybody says, but I had a great junior high experience for the most part. For the most part. I mean, it's awkward age, you know what I mean, for everyone, but...
Now that I'm on my 41th level...
You've made it to the 41st level?
41st level.
The 41 chambers of Brock?
Yes, because I think every year is a level.
There you go.
So I'm at my 41st level. 41th. Just made up it. But, looking back at these movies like this, it was something that we lived with, which was so strange.
Yeah,
now
so-
we don't have it.
So let's give a little backstory on that. I mean, this is early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
All these movies came out within, for the most part.
In the same year almost.
Yeah, if not in the same year, right there.
Yeah.
And they all had to deal with nuclear war specifically. Yes. So it was a nuclear apocalypse. Yeah. So I mean, that's a very niche category that you chose there, Brock. And,
I know.
I'm excited about it because this movie we're going to talk about today.
It's pretty heavy.
It scared the fuck out of me as a kid, dude.
Yeah.
Because I had fucking wacko dreams about nuclear war all the time, anyways.
Yep, me too.
It was something that I thought about when I went to bed at night. It was so much in my face.
So many kids in our generation, if you just even mention it, pretty much the 40-somethings out there, they've all kind of experienced this. You had nuclear dreams. You had apocalyptic dreams. I used to live right by a facility that used to make the fucking nuclear weapons. So we always heard that we were number 2 or number 3 on the list or whatnot, right?
Right.
Of course we weren't, because NORAD was more important. Military bases were more important.
Right.
But, as far as like the manufacturers of the weapons go, we were up there. We would have been bombed, no problem. It was Pantex.
So I grew up in the middle of, small town, central / western Illinois. Not a very good chance we probably would have got bombed. I mean, if you were going by city, like Chicago would have got hit.
Probably.
We would have felt the effects of that, of course.
Top 10 Chicago would have been there. Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't necessarily my proximity to anything. It was just that it was so much in my face all the time. And,
right.
You know,
it was
I
just
had recurring dreams.
Yeah.
That were the same fucking dream for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like a weird Twilight Zone dream too.
Yeah. I was too young for these first ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie that we're talking about, since we haven't even said what it is called The Day After.
Yeah. So this movie was a made-for-television movie by ABC.
And it scared the shit out of a lot of fucking people. There's these movies that were so real because they dealt with what would happen after, with nuclear fallout, with just the way society would fucking crumble, you know, with all of our technological advances at the time too in the 80s. I mean, shit.
1983, brother, for this movie.
Personal fucking computers, personal pan pizzas. I mean, we were fucking on top of the world back then.
Well, we see right off the bat the little TV that the guy's watching.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just like, damn, you need to put that on your
portable
wrist.
TV. Remember that? Oh shit! I could have got one of those for free if I would have got 100 people to sign up for those Olympic magazines.
Yeah, Jump Rope for Heart. I would have got a Pep Streetback fucking TV on my wrist. Pep Streetback. If anybody knows who Pep Streetback is, fucking email us because it's a fucking awesome reference, and I just killed that reference. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we lived with it. Our parents lived with it. You know, I mean, the baby boomers had it their whole entire lives.
Sure.
Up until when did the wall fall? 1989?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, nuclear disarmament became a pretty big fucking deal, you know, kind of around this time. And Ronald Reagan, you know, even though he was a warmonger pretty much, you know, in a weird way, he pretty much saw this movie the day after. And
he got to see it a month before it aired.
Yeah. And
they showed it to him and a bunch of top brass style generals and whatnot, from what I gathered.
Right.
And then there was actually a committee formed that was trying to get this to go to the USSR, to be aired in the USSR.
I think it did at one point.
Well,
yeah.
There was an effort to do that.
Yeah. It's crazy. And to think that our president watched it and was like, damn, this is fucked up.
Right. Well, one of the guys that knew the director and that was in that group actually said something to him. I don't remember what. Might have been on Wikipedia, one of those. I was reading something.
Yeah.
But, and he's like, man, if you wanted to draw blood, you did something, you know?
Yeah.
So, this movie's heavy.
It is. This was our first real. There was another movie that came out in the same year. It's called like Special Bulletin or something like that, which was basically followed the newscasters.
Okay.
And what they would do during it, and like before. I haven't watched it yet, but this one really dealt with, and it had some great actors in it, but it really dealt with the rural areas of the country.
Spoiler alert! I do have a question. Is this the heaviest movie that Steven Guttenberg's ever been in?
No. Cocoon.
I don't know if you heard the question correctly.
Steven Guttenberg?
Yes. Is this the heaviest movie that Steven Guttenberg's ever been in?
Maybe. 3 Men and a Little Lady? That was a pretty tough one.
That was Steve Guttenberg.
I know.
That's a whole different guy.
They're the same dudes.
What?
No way.
No way. But yeah, so back to, it was in the Midwest.
It took place in Kansas, which I've been to a lot of the places that are around there.
It took place in the fictional town of Hampton, Kansas specifically, which actually was Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah.
That's where they filmed it.
And
they do a special thanks to them.
Yeah, isn't there a military base over there too?
There is. There's well, because it came down here. Let me pull up the article while we're talking, because that's professional. Let me find it real quick though, because there was like a little story about it. It came down to Warrensburg, Missouri, and Lawrence, Kansas, where they were going to film it. And Lawrenceburg had like Central Missouri State University and the Air Force Base. But Lawrence had the University of Kansas. They ended up choosing Lawrence because of some of the other locales where they could shoot from there as well.
Yeah.
So it was Kansas side, but they wanted it initially. I mean, they wanted it near Kansas City.
Yeah,
that was the whole idea.
Yeah, because Kansas City was the biggest metropolitan area over there. They could show a little bit more destruction.
Right.
And I guess that area of Kansas too was supposedly. They touted it as one of the spots that would actually survive a nuclear attack.
And well, it makes sense because it's in between kind of everything. It's the center,
It's the exact center of the country
right.
is the way they looked at it. Which I don't know the validity of them having all those Minuteman missiles over there or Minuteman 3 or whatnot.
I have no idea. I'm sure though. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Well,
you got plenty of space.
The way that they frame it too is they frame it as like these silos are in their backyard.
Yeah.
It's like,
pretty close.
That's close. That's in the field over across the street.
Right.
It's kind of fucked up. But
it's got to be somewhere. Somewhere that's true.
Yeah.
It's probably Lawrence, Kansas.
Probably, right. But really, this movie, God, there's like 100 million people that watched it.
This was in the top 10. I don't remember what the number was. Of ratings.
It was the highest
sports events, but it was the number 1 television movie at the time
until 2009.
Yeah, so that's a long time to hold that record.
Damn, which is huge.
Is really surprising to me that it took till 2009 because that was kind of the burgeoning of streaming.
Yeah,
where we started, I would assume, losing those. People.
What was in 2009? I wonder what killed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably the ending of Lost. Could have been, or the Olympics. No, because the Olympics didn't even fucking
Well, it had to be the best TV movie, though.
Yeah, highest rated television film in history. That's huge, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was broadcast on Soviet Union State TV in '87. So it was still during the Cold War, even though it was de-escalating very quickly, because this was 1983 that it came out. It's again, I think it's a piece of our history that we don't pay attention to anymore. That we lived through a time when we thought that there could have been a major escalation between the Soviet Union and Turkey or some shit like that.
Right.
And we could have all fucking got blown up, or most of us got blown up and then, then we would have lived through nuclear fallout.
Exactly.
Which is fucking crazy because they didn't hold back.
Right.
At all on these movies. They did not hold back. They made you really believe it, but then also they made you, I don't know, they had so many good actors and actresses in this movie that they really did kind of shine through. I mean, anything with Jason Robards. Jason Robards is a very good actor.
Absolutely.
John Lithgow in 1983. Who wouldn't want him in your movie at that point?
Right.
3 years later, I think he was doing fucking Buckaroo Banzai. God damn it.
Oh, yeah, there you
go. Okay, so this movie was directed by a famous director. He did a lot of really cool stuff. We'll kind of get into that. Nicholas Meyer.
Yes.
Now, if you're a fan of Star Trek, you know who Nicholas Meyer is.
Khan!
Yeah, because he made the best Star Trek movie. He's done a lot of other stuff, a lot of screenplays and things like that. But really, Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country, that was the one with Sybok in it. Spock's brother or some shit like that.
Right.
That was the full-blooded, whatever, Vulcan. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody's like, damn you.
Right. Star Trek.
But, it's an unusual thing for somebody to really get behind and be like, guess what? I'm going to make this fucking badass movie, right?
Right.
And this was after he made Star Trek 2 first, or no, in 85 and 83 is when this one was done.
Right.
So, I mean, he's worked with a lot of famous people.
Oh, for sure.
And those movies are pretty fucking big, He wrote fucking Star Trek 6, Star Trek 4.
Which one was 6? Was that God?
That was the Undiscovered Country. Yeah,
That's God?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then The Voyage Home he wrote. So, I mean, he's a prolific writer and everything. But as far as his directorial stuff, this was something that he was like, he must have been very passionate about.
Right.
Let's go ahead and fuck this one up. You know what I mean? Let's show the world what we have here. Which is fucking great because, I mean, even back in the day, whenever you got established stage and screen actors to be in a television movie, the validity for it was just through the roof.
Absolutely. Especially, I mean, 83 for sure, I guess, but I would think even like The Stand.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of which, that's how this was set up to be. It was supposed to be 4-hour-long parts that they were going to do over, I don't know if it was 2 nights or 4 nights, something like that.
Something like that.
Anyways, but then they kept cutting it down. There was like a lot of pushback. They were having a hard time getting sponsors because of the content. So they asked him to cut it down. Then they asked him to cut it down again. And then he left the project.
And then he came back?
And they hired all these different people to come in and fix it. And they hated what they got. And so they asked him to come back and he fixed it. Yeah.
That's fucked up.
But I understand having to have him cut it down. There was, I don't remember the whole reasoning behind it.
Yeah. But I know that there was
some of it was because of sponsors, some of it was because of censors.
Yeah, very graphic parts to it.
Like the children, you know, like there was a scene that was completely cut out because of the censors where a child dies, you know? And they thought it would scare children. And I think that the director even said, he's like, with all the stuff that's on TV right now, probably not.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the Fall Guy was really big.
Yeah. A-Team.
Yeah, come on. I mean, no. What would the A-Team have done during a nuclear war? Would they have just like
they would have
themselves?
built a nuclear shelter out of like car parts,
or the van, right? They would have parked it in a couple of buses underground, just so they could escape the fallout.
That's right.
They would
have known, yeah.
And you know what was really cool about this movie too is they didn't really know the full effects of what would happen after a nuclear fallout,
right?
So they really do go into detail, and it I think at the very last part of it, doesn't it say that they intentionally made it more horrific than it would really be?
The opposite.
Oh.
They said that actual fallout would be way worse, you know?
Yeah, because the sun was still shining in this fucking movie.
Well, it's not that maybe the sun wouldn't still shine. Yeah. But it would be a lot more, it would be a lot worse, but they did it because obviously context, you don't want to show people everything, you know?
Yeah, you're not going to show it all.
Right.
But that's what our next one is, and if you can guess what that is, cool. But, no, we can start with the cast. Now we have Jason Robards, of course, and if you know movies, you know Jason Robards.
Absolutely.
Jo Beth Williams. Jo Beth Williams, this was one of her first ones. All I got to say is boing. No. And then, of course, you got the King Steve Guttenberg. He's a fucking badass. He was a G.I. Joe in this one.
Yeah.
So, and then
Steve Guttenberg?
Yeah.
No, he was a college. He was a
No, I thought he was in the Army.
No, he was a pre-med.
Oh.
He was a pre-med student at the university.
I thought he was in the Army.
Nope.
Huh. Well, okay. I'm wrong. John Cullum. M-O-O-N. That spells John Cullum. He was hauling, what was his fucking name in, that fucking movie about Sicily, Alaska, or the TV show, Northern Exposure.
Oh.
Was he hauling? He was the one that was married to the younger woman, you know?
I didn't really watch that show.
Yeah, I watched it all the time.
I didn't really watch TV when that was on.
Yeah. He wasn't the astronaut. But he was a guy that I guess was born and raised in fucking Alaska or some shit.
Gotcha.
And who else we got here? John Lithgow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Even though he really didn't do a lot in it.
He won an award for this movie.
Really?
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds. I'll tell you. I remember reading that somewhere.
John Lithgow.
Yeah, it was a supporting actor award, I believe.
Wow. Like an Emmy or some shit?
I think so.
I could see that. A BAFTA. You know?
Right. Here we go. No, we don't.
He's a badass.
Here it is. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, everybody, like, there's a lot of people that won stuff, I believe.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Limited Series was an Emmy nomination.
Oh, nomination. But still.
They won Outstanding Film Sound Editing and Outstanding Achievement in Special Visual Effects, especially for 1983.
Yeah, we'll talk about how they did that, too.
But they were nominated for, like, 10.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. 1983 was fucking the year.
Yeah.
And then we have Bibi Besh. She was in, of course, she was Kirk's, ex-wife or girlfriend or some shit. Right. And the father of his child that died. Lori Lethan, don't really know. Amy Madigan.
She was in Uncle Buck. She was in Field of Dreams, Pollock.
She was in a lot of stuff.
Sorry.
Yeah.
She was Academy nominated actress as well.
Yeah. She, when you see her, you're like, damn, she looked the exact same throughout the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
The one dude that really kind of got me the most was not Arliss Howard, but Stephen Furst. Stephen Furst, he played Flounder in Animal House, right?
Okay.
So he was a big guy that had the car and everything like that. He was in Dream Team, Babylon 5, some other shit. So he really didn't do a lot, honestly.
Right.
I guess he's a Babylon 5 dude or something. Freakazoid. He's a voice guy.
Right.
But yeah, when I saw him, I was like, damn, it's the dude from fucking Friday the 13th Part 5. But it wasn't.
No, it was.
I was like, it's him.
Flounder.
I didn't know Arliss Howard was in this, and I don't remember where he was at in this. Arliss Howard was in Full Metal Jacket. He was Tex.
Yeah.
He was in The Lost World. God, he's been in so many fucking different things. He's a pretty badass actor. He's one of those kind of... I mean, he could win any award that he wanted to, you know what I mean? But he's never really been anything where he kicked ass besides the Sandlot. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That was a great movie.
It was a great movie. Hill Street Blues. He had a Hill Street Blues credit.
Well.
And a MASH.
No Fall Guy.
No Fall Guy. He didn't make the Fall Guy cut. But the cast that they did assemble, yeah, there's a lot of big names in it, but at the same time, they were all very good actors for what they did.
Absolutely.
Real people, it seemed like, it seemed like these were your neighbors for real,
Absolutely.
Because they really, it's not that they were acting, it's that they were just being normal. Yep. It seemed like, I mean, Lithgow wasn't over the top and he was just kind of just straight up,
Right.
Jason Robards too. Jason Robards is a powerful actor. And he has a lot of good screen credits and everything like that.
He's a stage actor.
Yeah. Magnolia, Parenthood. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, great actor for sure.
Yeah, great actor. But going through that cast, you're like, okay, I could see how this would work, and it would be cool. This kind of was a stand for the time, Instead of 92.
Except I think this was obviously based in a lot more reality.
Yes. There was no Captain Trips.
No,
even though
there was no, demons.
No. Yeah. Except for Arliss Howard. But, what I really, I think there is, Arthur Ashe was in this. The
tennis player?
The tennis player. Yeah. There's some other people that were in there. Wayne Knight.
There were other people that were in this movie.
Wayne Knight was in this movie? Man at Hospital.
Sure.
Wow. Newman.
You son of a bitch.
That's crazy. Yeah. I wonder, if you ask them, so how was your time like on the day after? I don't fucking remember. You remember that movie? Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we can kind of get into the breakdown of the movie now if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Are we breaking down completely, or what do you want to do with this?
We don't really necessarily have to. We can just kind of give it a loose,
Okay.
part of it, because basically it follows a whole bunch of different people, not at the same time, but there are different experiences throughout this. I mean, it starts
The first third of this is, I mean, really building characters.
Yes.
It's you get a you get a sense of who the characters are. They build up the characters. You get attached to what's going on.
It's the normalcy.
Story. Yeah.
And then the newscasters.
I mean, but it's 1983, so it's not normal now.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Yeah, and not everybody's driving Chryslers and shit. No, I mean, it's just kind of there's tensions escalating, in the Soviet Union, which they're pretty much intimidating the United States, right? The United Kingdom and France and everything like that.
They have a big they move a big force near the East Berlin, into the Berlin Wall, like in that area, so that like, hey, we're right on your border.
Yeah, guess what's going to happen? You sons of bitches, and
because they're trying to get them to withdraw from Berlin,
right,
like all the NATO countries.
Yeah, and they show little tidbits so people know something's coming. But they didn't know how, important it is. When you meet the soldier, he's like, damn it, baby. I gotta go,
It's an alert.
Yeah, it's an alert. It might be a drill, and you're like, God damn, sorry, man.
Right.
That's William Allen Young, and he's been in a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely.
God, he was in.
Did we mention him?
No.
Oh.
He was on District 9, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lock Up. Yeah, he's been on a lot of shit. But they follow him. They follow the doctor because the doctor's like teaching some sort of a class. So he leaves Kansas City to go down to the university or some shit like that, right? Or he's on his way back. So they have this night before build up where people are kind of like not freaking out because it hasn't escalated that quickly.
Yeah. So what I like about the way this is done too is that we get all the information, and it's a lot of information about what's going on behind the scenes. And I don't mean behind the scenes, but politically, globally, to cause all this to happen. But it all comes through radios, TV screens. Seldom are people talking about it.
Right.
Even the general that's in the airplane, the worst actor in this movie. It's like, dude, did you take a Xanax before you did this?
Yes.
But like they don't really they talk about the minutia of what they have to do.
Yeah.
But they don't really talk about, he says the one thing you get right off early on is about the nuclear subs.
Oh, yep. Yeah. And that's a little tidbit of one of the other movies that they expand on that we're going to go over too. So you get to see a little bit of that part of it. You get to see how the wheels turn in the army and everything like that for how they're going to launch and everything.
Yeah, and I really felt like the scenario that they used for the war to happen was spot on, dude. For the time.
Yeah.
It made complete sense.
Yeah.
Like there was depth to the story of the way they did it.
Yes.
How everything happened. And it was a good scenario. Like I feel like somebody who really, really took the time,
to figure out if they did this is what would happen with this. And
well, anytime, just like North Korea, South Korea, right?
Yeah.
At any time you start bringing in a bunch of armored stuff, and then the next people are bringing their armored stuff, and then, you know what I mean? And then from there, everybody's shooting fucking missiles.
Yeah, you would get those little blips too of them showing the scenes, on television and stuff like that. And, everybody was kind of going about their normal days before it happens. And that was cool that I wanted to mention this, that before the bombs dropped in the movie, they were running commercial breaks. After the bombs hit, they had no more commercial breaks.
Yeah.
They bought all that airtime before for commercial, and they were like, guess what? You're going to go through this.
Yep.
Which of course, was a very, very big thing for everybody, you know? So maybe whenever I was a little kid, my parents watched this. I don't know. They might not even remember. It was probably aired at like 7:00 at night, you know? It's crazy. Prime time.
Yeah.
And so we get to see like how people freak out whenever they have that capability, like they're leaving. They know that the missiles are there, the Minuteman missiles or whatnot.
There's a lot of grocery shopping that happens real fast. Did you remember that? Like when like they finally figure out like something bad's happening, and they're like all of a sudden like all those people are coming out of the grocery stores and they're like running.
Yeah.
With their carts.
Yeah, but no toilet paper.
Dumb.
Not like COVID.
They haven't been through a pandemic.
Yeah. They haven't been through COVID, goddammit. So yeah, that's when you get to kind of see the different factions. Like, the Goot, he decides that he's going to go home.
Yeah.
Right. And so he's trying to hitch a ride, but everybody's like, nobody wants to pick him up, even though he's hitchhiking. You know,
that one guy in the truck picks him up.
Yeah. So I could take you as far as blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, sure thing, buddy. So yeah, he wants to go home. You have the farmer and his family,
and they go into the basement.
But they're at other people's houses putting dirt up against the windows.
Yep.
So you get to see how these people are doing everything. The couple that has the baby or whatnot, and the dude comes in, and he's like, "Hey, baby, why don't you take off your shirt?" She's like, "Stop it!" and it's like, "What the fuck is that?" And they disappear. But
that's the one with the daughter and the son that are watching TV, and then they go upstairs. And
that was the Northern Exposure dude,
okay,
wasn't it? Yeah, because he comes home and the little kid's outside. You know, no. That's the sex couple. Yeah. That's McTits and fucking McDong.
Not that you get any of this TV movie, 1983 on ABC.
But they're like, hey,
the mouse now.
Yeah. They're like, hey, guess what's happening? I'm like, whoa, stop it right there. Censor count.
Is this pre-mouse?
Yeah, I think so. No. They were always involved with ABC.
Were they?
Yeah, because they always did the fucking, Sunday night movies and shit like that.
That is true.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that was ownership.
I don't know. Maybe they were high-fiving. Yeah, you actually, the way that they created the effects for this too, is they took ink and water and pushed the ink into the water to make it look like a mushroom cloud.
Oh.
That's why it was such a weird color too, because when you start seeing the bombs going off, I mean, home dude, Jason Robards, he's driving and he ducks, but I think he's in a Volvo. I think that's why there's a TV show called Whoops. Yeah. And he survives because he's in a Volvo. That was probably where the joke fucking came from.
You're probably right, dude. I didn't even think of that.
And I was like, oh, he's in a fucking Volvo. That's weird. And, so he's going the opposite way because he's trying to get back to Kansas City, right?
Right.
And then he decides, guess what? I got to go back because the EMP burst happens and everybody's shit dies.
Right.
Because they detonate the bomb high level, don't they? It's like a high level detonation.
Yes.
That does more destruction.
Yes.
So, and I forgot what kiloton it was or whatnot.
I don't remember that I'm sure they did. I don't remember either. But just a footnote: ABC was not owned by the Walt Disney Company until 1996.
Oh, but I think they still did show.
Oh
the
ABC
I'm sure
family
that,
movie. I'm sure that's
whatnot.
why it went through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, we've had a long relationship together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, that's not
We've
what we're
been
talking
together for
about.
a long time.
I just wanted to know if this was a mouse movie.
Oh, yeah. No. They're not going to lay claim to this one. They're not going to put it on fucking
Disney Plus
anytime soon.
That'd be dude, I wish they would.
The fucking disclaimer would be fucking long. It's like intense scenes of death. You do not want to watch this.
I digress.
Yeah. So, I mean, whenever it's the bombs are about to drop too, they show all the missiles getting launched, and everybody at that point is like let's go. Even the wife, the BB Besh woman, she's like, oh, I'm just cleaning up. And he's like, get the fuck in the basement,
She's
woman.
freaking out, though.
Yeah.
You could tell because she's like making the bed and she like starts screaming when he stops her.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the part that I thought was crazy was, and I assume they don't have these things anymore. We had them in the town that I grew up in, but for tornadoes.
Oh, yeah.
But they had those big sirens.
Yeah.
And like,
that shit's
I can't
scary.
imagine that we have those now for that specific kind of a thing. You know
Well,
what I
we
mean?
don't have any fucking sirens, I know, in the springs for tornadoes.
Well, I think there's been one tornado in the
like
springs. Since
30
like,
years, 40
there were
years,
some
50
on the
years.
outside a couple years ago, but
Yeah,
not
before-
like in the city.
Yeah, before I moved in here around Garden of the Gods, I think they had one. Wasn't that too crazy?
Right.
But yeah, in Texas, shit, we had fucking they still sound them off every Sunday, just for like really quick. They just put them out.
I think ours were every Tuesday at 10 a.m. or every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Yeah, it's like a weird deal. Maybe it's not Sunday. Maybe it is like a Tuesday or something. But I remember those.
Yeah.
Being like, tornado sirens.
Like I remember the first time that I moved to the town that I pretty much grew up in or moved back to, and like the towns where I lived that didn't have that, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" You know?
Yeah, because you did freak out.
Hell yeah!
And then like if you were sick from school on the day that they did that shit, if it wasn't Sunday, you'd just be like, "What the fuck?"
They were loud,
Is there a
dude.
tornado? I mean, I've been through a tornado before. I was really young, but I don't think it really was too close. But yeah, it was pretty freaky.
I've chased a tornado in a van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Helen Hunt.
Specifically to kick it in the jaw.
Yes. Did you throw a bottle of vodka in it?
No, it was probably rum. But living in Illinois where I lived,
Yeah.
I mean, the tornadoes were very, very common.
Yeah. You get to
Like
see the
yearly, you would have 2 to 3, 4 around you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like within close proximity.
Yeah, in Amarillo, people stare at them. They're out on their porch. They're like, "Hey, what's up?"
Have you ever been very, very close to a tornado?
Yeah,
Sounds like a train.
yeah.
The
It's
closer
fucking
you get, it sounds like
crazy.
a train getting closer to you.
Ooh, I can
It's
still
insane.
remember it from whenever I was little.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was 83,
Oh,
somewhere
wow.
around there. Because we lived in a little town called Paris, Texas, and we lived in a trailer house.
Okay.
In the trailer court that we lived in, one night I remember my Empire Strikes Back bed sheets and everything, right? I even had a fucking Ewok underneath the trailer too.
Oh, shit.
Like a little bitty guy. And I remember fucking
Like a real one that you keep down there?
Yeah, he was my friend.
Nice.
He was my own
You
little
just throw
wicked.
in the like scraps from
Yeah.
your dinner?
I'm like, here's a bone, eat it.
He's like some cannibalistic Ewok that lives under a trailer.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. This is a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We're talking about the day
Yeah.
after.
But yeah, I know. And that tornado went through. I think it got a couple of trailers, but it wasn't. I mean, it was really close to us. We were in a fucking trailer house and we went to the bathroom.
So I will tell you that as an adult, I made a decision a long time ago to never live in a trailer house, specifically because if you live in a trailer, especially if you live in a trailer near other trailers, a tornado will come for you.
Yeah.
It's like they're drawn there.
Yeah. They like the, they just like the smells or something like that. It's
they're
like an
"Ah,
apartment complex.
Smells like trailers.
Yes. Got him.
But we're talking about nuclear war, my friend.
Yeah. So,
I'm just bringing it back.
yeah. So what's really cool is they do show the immediate danger. They show the missiles launching. They get you right there, and then they show those fucking explosions.
Absolutely.
And like the helicopter pilot, the airman dude, he's like, fuck this, I'm going home. They're like, whatever, get inside the fucking missile
Shelter.
silo.
Well, it was weird because didn't they like try to stop them from going down there? And then he's like, no, I'm going down there. The other guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, then they all the two SPs, which that's the special police for the Air Force.
Okay, yeah.
Go down with him. So I don't know if I missed something in there.
Yeah, me too.
Because
I think
like
they must
suddenly
have-
they were together going down there.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, it was your idea.
Yeah, and he's like, no, not to be down there getting cooked. And he like closes the lid on him. And then he runs like a mug and gets in that truck and drives through. Like, even though it's open, he just drove through it. He hits the thing and,
Yeah.
because
So-
it's the 80s.
Yeah. Well, they were working on a silo at one point. They showed kind of a little scene like that. And they're like, you need to get the fuck out of here, before this thing launches.
Right.
So you get to see those missiles going through the fucking air. And that's the sight, that the wife kind of freaks out. They know.
Yeah.
They fucking know, that this is the end of it,
Right.
They know it's the end of the fucking world pretty much.
Well, and again, at this time, they're expecting it,
yeah.
They
They were like, it's never going to go this far. Whatever. I'll be home tonight. Let's have some fucking meatloaf. And then the next day they're like, God damn.
Well, and the one guy, the Air Force guy, he, what was his name in the movie? Do you remember? It doesn't matter. But he even tells his wife when he's leaving, he's like, you just drive to your mom's house. I'll catch up with you as soon as it's over.
Yep.
No big deal. And she's kind of freaking out. And he's like, no, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's just a drill.
Yeah.
We're on
and
alert.
Like, you poor son of a bitch.
Yeah. We're on alert. It's not that big of a deal. I just got to go into work. Fuck
Right.
you. Let's have some fucking meatloaf when I get back.
Yeah.
And nobody really thinks it's going to escalate that quickly.
But then it does.
Yeah, because it was within hours. you know?
I think the whole thing takes over, like not the whole thing, but the whole escalation portion of it takes place over like 3 days, right?
Yeah, I think
2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I think it's relatively pretty fast, if not even just a day.
I think it was
like,
at least a couple days.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there.
Because it takes them a long time to get prepared, because you have home dude on the motorcycle that picks up the chick and is like, hey, maybe it's our last night. Let's get it on. And she's like, all right, let's go. And then, home dude's watching TV, while she's running around. And you could tell that he's already concerned, the farmer dude.
Right.
And so he's kind of like, what the fuck this is not that important. And he steps outside, but you can see that in these people that they know that that's a possibility,
right?
But when it hits, everybody's like freaking the fuck out,
absolutely,
and
mass hysteria, as you would imagine,
big time, right? So there's people outside, there's people inside, there's people everywhere, right?
So there's a scene, and it's and I'm supposing in Kansas City, because that was the city that was closest. And it's like above shot and people are running.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this habit of when I see that, I always want to see if they actually look like they're running to something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's still a guy that seems like he's going nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm following him around the crowd. I'm like, where's that fucker going? What are you doing? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, he has no fucking idea. And the little girl doesn't want to go into the bomb shelter, right? She's like, I don't want to go down there.
And he's like, no, go. No.
And then you see her later, she's trampled.
Yes.
So, people have no fucking...
And that's bound to happen.
It
just takes one person getting shoved the wrong way, off balance, and mass hysteria going, so those people are trying to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. Get down to the fucking fallout shelter.
Right. None of them are being malicious, but at some point you've got to feel like, hey, if there's something's under my foot.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. I mean? Wait, stop. Because if you stop, because I thought about that too, if somebody were to fall in something like that, you can't stop or you're going to get trampled too.
Absolutely.
Unless everybody's like, fucking stop. Let's get out of the way of this little kid. So that was pretty crazy.
Yep.
That was a really kind of a fucked up part to kind of see that. You see home dude running out of his fucking truck into the woods. I don't know where the fuck he went. He just kind of goes. Jason Robards survives. Everybody at the college, and then the whatever you call it, the college, the campus doctor place or whatnot, hospital.
Yeah, the hospital.
Yeah, that's the biggest hospital. That's the closest.
You're right.
So you really get to see how everybody tries to end up going to the same place.
Right.
And the airman, he does mention that, hey, we need to get to the hospital. That's where they're going to have help or whatnot.
Right. Which makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's just kind of walking because the EMP takes out all the electronics.
Right.
So they have no radios. They have nothing. They show Lithgow and all the other dudes and Flounder inside the science lab or whatnot. And that one woman's on the roof trying to adjust for some signal or something like that. and you're thinking, God damn, it's fucking Fallout time.
Well, and the first, because it's an EMP almost, you know? I mean, like all the cars that are driving just stop.
Yep. All the electronics
radios,
are gone.
yeah.
And they do kind of mess up. They have a goof because if the EMP would have went off, no more sirens. But then the sirens are running while the explosions are going off too. So
Maybe
I don't know.
in a shielded place.
Maybe an extra power or some shit like that. Because
they're in a Ferris cage.
Yeah, a Faraday cage.
Or Faraday, yeah. What did I say? Ferris.
Ferris.
Yeah.
Say Ferris cages.
Maybe Hal Jordan.
Yeah, there we go. He's just protecting it with a giant fist. But yeah, you have this really. Don't they have call signs too of where they're at?
Yes.
And they have like, this is a fucking whiskey foxtrot or some shit like that, and like something else. Yeah, they kind of show that inner workings of that part of it as well.
Like all the way to the point of where they get the keys and they open the things. You know what I mean? Him and that general.
Yeah.
You know, so like basically the nuclear football or whatever. You know what I mean?
Pretty much, yeah, yeah.
You know? So we're striking back at the same time they're firing, basically.
Yeah.
And what was really crazy is at one point he's like, "Yeah, it takes 30 minutes for the missile to get here."
Yep.
Or no, he goes, "It takes 30 minutes for our missiles to get there."
Yeah.
And they didn't know who fired first.
Yeah, and they leave it ambiguous.
And he goes, "So it probably takes 30 minutes for theirs to get here too." And they just kind of leave it right there.
Yeah, they're like,
because they're trying to figure out what the fuck they're gonna do. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's so crazy because everybody knows that once those missiles launched, something's coming back.
Absolutely.
They're the only reason why the other ones would have launched too. So yeah, that's the.
I thought they handled that very well.
Yeah,
like leaving it open to we don't know who escalated it to that level.
Right.
You know what I mean? And by doing that, they do open it up to more people seeing this because there's a very good message at the end of this.
Yes.
To all the nations of the world.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so I thought that was smart of them not to make it like a USA, you know, like they fired, so we had to fire. We don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's all a big giant deal of pride or some shit like that.
You know, I don't want it to be. By doing that, you open it to more people. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So
smart.
Yeah.
Smart for that guy.
So it's so fucking strange afterwards too because there's nothing to eat. You know, they're in the basement for God knows how long because the goot shows up.
Yeah.
And they left the dog out there, and the dog dies relatively fast. So Goot was out there for a while too.
Well, leaving the dog out there too. The dad even said because the girl's like, "We left the dog," you know, and he's like, "We don't have enough food."
Yeah, we cannot bring that dog down here.
Yeah.
There's just not a way for it.
And the real answer to that is that dog you don't want to bring in there too because now it's got radiation poisoning. Of some sort, you know?
Yes, it's fucking dead.
Dude, that scene. So let's talk about the death a little bit. I think we're there.
Okay.
You know, man. So the effects. Well, we can talk about the effects of the bomb first.
Ooh.
Where we see the flashes and then it goes because you see the first one.
Yeah.
You know that goes up above.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fucking weird or whatever.
They don't really show the destruction of the shockwave and everything like that. No. They just show that blast,
right?
And then you envision it kind of yourself to see how far that blast goes, because it doesn't even get to Jason Robards. It doesn't really fuck his shit up that much. It's just the EMP does it, and then that flash goes off, and then the farmer's kid is outside,
right? And he looks up at it.
Yeah, so he's blinded by that shit, blinded by the flash, you know. Which then you start seeing slowly. You know, because the hospital is overrun.
Right.
Now, that's
because you get that first one, then you get that big explosion.
Yeah.
And that's where we get to see, like, those effects where it shows, like, their skeletons.
Yeah.
And all that. And those people are fucking just dead.
In the fire and shit like that.
Absolutely.
I think that's where, you know, the love couple dies, because they're getting in their truck or some shit like that, and the fire fucking engulfs them, which is fucking
This
crazy.
is the first time I've seen this movie since I watched it on TV as a kid.
Shit, this is the first time I ever saw this movie.
Gotcha.
And so, so basically that fallout afterwards too, you're seeing all of the like the ash and stuff like that fall from the sky. It's getting all over Home Dude that's walking. Goot's all fucked up. Everybody's all dirty at that point too.
Right.
After
As
the
you
deal,
would be,
yeah.
you know.
So because he's in the middle of some podunk town, and he hides in a diner.
Right.
So you don't really know the level of exposure because most people, they don't know what the effects of the radiation are.
Right.
So Robards is at the hospital, which again is a very, very good spot to show the aftermath of something like that, I think.
Agreed. And
he's the head person in charge, right? He's got to be. And
yes.
Is it the university hospital that they're at? It's something like that. It's a big hospital facility. It's a learning hospital too.
Yeah, it's like Gray's and Sloan or whoever, the Gray's Anatomy.
Yeah,
people,
Gray's Anatomy and some other,
ER.
Yeah,
that's what I call that show.
Yeah. And
St. Elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, he gets there. He ends up walking there. He's like, I gotta fucking go. They're gonna need me. That's the only place to go. I can't go back home. Home's gone. Right. So he shows up and fucking the worst actor in the fucking movie is the other doctor.
I don't know.
That dude's bad.
That general's fucking terrible, dude.
Well, he was a real general though, so I mean.
Was he?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're wrong. No way.
For
the
real.
guy that made the decisions up there, the big cat.
Yeah, the guy with the funky glasses and shit like that. Yeah. Didn't he have glasses?
I don't think so. The guy that reported to him did.
General on board was Clarence Reuben Autry, a real 30-year U.S. Air Force decorated Vietnam veteran and commander.
No idea.
Strategic Air Command, SAC.
Oh.
Yeah. So, when shit starts breaking loose, because everybody's going to the hospital, they don't have nothing. That's when you get to see the pregnant lady, right? Mm-hmm. So she still hasn't given birth. And people are just piling in. Everybody's going nuts. They're fighting over shit. Fucking Jason Robards stands up in the middle and is like, listen, everybody's got to fucking help.
Right.
Because we have no idea what else is going to happen. We have no communication. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution.
Yeah, because when the one guy tries to tell them all to leave if they're not seriously hurt, he gets thrown around a bit, up against the wall, and Robards like, all right, fuck all this.
Nobody can leave.
Right.
Because you can't go outside. And then Home Dude Lithgow's got the Geiger counter. Him and Flounder are putting together the car batteries or whatnot, to actually run their equipment so they can check the radiation levels.
Absolutely.
So when it gets down to an acceptable level, everybody can get out.
Right.
At that point, they can't get out, and it's like weeks that they're stuck inside.
Right.
So there's no food, there's no fucking anything. They're running out of supplies. Robards is working his ass off.
Yeah, they got all those flashlights taped together, hanging
for the
above
surgery.
for the surgery.
Yeah. And there's people that are fucking nuclear scarred, burned, fucking everything like that. So when they finally get to come out, that's when they kind of try to have some semblance of reality set in, where when they all finally leave that basement, because it's got to fucking smell. Yeah. It's got to smell like piss and shit and it's fucking everything, right? Because he was digging in a latrine back behind some little dill,
right?
So the little boy he can't see, and Goot's there, and
that's where we find out that no, that's not where we find out, but that's where he talks about the retina being burned and all that, and he says that he's a pre-med student.
That's right. Fuck, I thought he was in the Army. But because
that's why I think you're confusing the one part that we talked about. Because that's a different person.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because the dude on the motorcycle that was about to marry the chick, right? His motorcycle stalls and he dies. Right. He gets exploded.
He's on a motorcycle.
Yeah, he's like, oh, damn it. Keep going. No.
Don't do it now.
Yeah, no, right now. So she starts confusing him, Gutenberg, for her boyfriend. It's weird. She has weird dreams that she sees him, but it's Goot.
Right.
And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yo.
The scene where she runs out, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because she's like, look, it's a beautiful day. We're fine. And like you see this like pull back, and there's all the cows dead,
and it's covered in
all the
radioactive
birds.
ash.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there. There's probably bugs, and
maybe.
When they're running, it's just like the dust is flying up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to fuck him up, because he's like, I owe you one. Let me go get her.
Yep.
You guys stay here. So she starts getting fucked up, and that's probably where her major exposure happened.
Right.
It's just like Steve Gutenberg's. And of course, they have the little farmer meeting too.
Yeah.
Where the farmers are like, this is the most important thing that we can really do. And Home Dude's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We can't do shit. We're fucking dead, man. There's no roof on this fucking house. You know what I mean? Right. So, they're trying to get back. They're trying to bounce. They're trying to do whatever that they can. The hospital's getting overrun. People are picking up strays. People are walking. They're fighting over food and water.
Yeah.
Like what was that fucking all about? The dude has like a pump, right? And he's letting people just walk up and drink from the pump, right?
Right.
But yet, they keep knocking some feral kid out, some dude, like fucking some freaky dude, and they keep pushing him. He's like, oh, I'm thirsty. And then cause Home Dude got like a whole bunch of baby Ruths.
Right.
Yeah. Were they baby Ruths? Yeah. He's
whatever they were just little candy or a bunch of candy bars.
Yeah. Cause he ends up in a city too, cause he covers himself in a blanket. And so they pretty much go everywhere, and you can hear the gunshots and everything like that when he's in the city. So you get to see everything break down. And the real visceral part of a nuclear fallout is all the fucking people that are hurt and fucked up.
Sure, you have the hurt and fucked up people, but the thing is everybody involved's fucked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just a matter of time.
Exactly.
And I think they do mention that we don't really know what the effects are of this, so this is all going to be different and new. And then they have people working where they're loading bodies and dropping bodies out, and they have it's basically just like a giant triage,
right?
The whole time, and the woman doesn't give birth for a while, because she's like kind of technically holding the baby in by sheer will. She's like, I don't want this fucking thing to come out,
right?
And that's when Robards kind of has his breakdown, and he starts really getting affected too. Slowly but surely, all of that radiation is just really eating everybody from the inside out.
Well, when Robard finally makes it home, that scene's pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah, because he's fucked up.
Oh, and you can see like as he was walking, like his hair's falling out, and that family's like crouched in what used to be his house next to his fireplace.
Yeah, he's like, get out of my house,
right? And that was a pretty crazy scene because I think he realizes what he's become when he tells him the second time, and the guy offers him an apple.
Yeah.
And then he just walks away and like collapses.
Yeah, and the other dude comes
over and like holds him. You know what I mean? That's very human. Man.
Yeah, that's just like you're like, God damn.
Yeah,
you feel that shit just like with the Goot too. And I gotta say it, because he ends up taking the girl because she starts bleeding in the middle of the church. They're having church. Mm-hmm. Right? And she starts bleeding. They pick her up. She's passing out, He says, listen, I'm going to take her to Allenville or whatever,
Right.
And I'm going to take her to the hospital, and I'll take your son too. I owe this to you. And so, they get there, and Gutenberg kind of helps out, does whatever, and they kind of show that a lapse of time, but you don't know how much time it is. So it's probably, I don't know. Is probably months after, I guess. You would almost have to say a month, maybe 2 months after, or something like that. I don't remember if it does say anything like that. But really, just like the only thing that they could really show is like the hair, falling out. And that would be the first thing to fall out.
Well, that's because they cut out like 8.5 minutes of all of the like terrible stuff, like
limbs torn off,
victims and like carbonizing flesh, things like that. You know what I mean?
They show some like skeletons and shit like that in the rubble.
Yeah, quite a few actually.
Yeah. Where does he go to look over Kansas City? He goes to like some high like building or some shit like that. Looks over.
Yeah.
Fucking completely decimated.
It was
nothing.
Yeah, I didn't know where he was either. I don't know enough about Kansas City and Lawrence. I mean, I've been to both those places actually, but
Yeah,
just
Kansas
don't
City,
know
Kansas, or Kansas City, Missouri.
both.
They're the same.
Sort of. Ask somebody
Yeah.
that lives in one of those.
Yeah, they're
not
right
the
in the
same.
middle.
But yeah, so man, so what do you think about this? So one of the things I just remembered from while I was like pulling up a few articles, 300 ICBMs is what they said were coming at them.
And Jesus, that was like 300 megatons, and had to have been.
Well, regardless of what each one was, but that's up to 300 targets, dude,
Yeah.
within the U.S. And I remember the only time we really hear anything from the president is that there's like a broadcast at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or towards the end. Not the last scene, I don't think.
Yeah.
But where he says there's been a ceasefire because Russia's, they both are fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's accepting their losses pretty much, I
Right.
guess. Yeah, it's supposed to be Reagan,
Yeah, because that last thing that we get is that it's just like a voiceover. It's Huxley, right? John Lithgow's character with the radio, the makeshift radio.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hello, this is Lawrence, Kansas. Is anybody there? Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody at all?"
Yeah, yeah, because they've set up that radio, and he's been broadcasting, and he talks to Robards at the other place. Robards is collapsed, and he makes his way back home. He's like, I'm going to see my home before I die.
Right, but that's the last scene we get is that his voice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
and
asking.
that embrace
Yeah,
between that. I'm sorry, not talking in the microphone, but that embrace, and then we get that voiceover from John Lithgow.
yeah,
and you're like, "Phew."
yeah. I know, it's fucking crazy, man.
So, since we're doing, a bunch of these nuclear apocalypse 80s movies, apparently, how many ICBMs would you give this?
Fucking
Out of 10
out of 10.
or 5?
Overall, yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
No
it
shit.
was really good, dude.
Yeah, it was
It's
a great movie. If they would because they can't redo this one. You
No,
leave
but
this
they're-
one the way it is, but clean it up.
Well, and I do think that they're like, I think they said when the DVD or something came out that they added some back into it from like that was cut out.
Yeah, the DVD's like $50-$60
I bet.
just to find it.
I'm sure.
I think on Amazon it was a lot of money, but we watched it on YouTube. It was actually on YouTube, the full movie.
Yeah, so if you want to watch this, if you want to check it out, just go to YouTube. It's free.
And it was full aspect ratio too, so it wasn't in 4:6.
Right.
It was actually
really cool.
Yeah, it actually filled the screen, which was really good. So you really did. I don't know. Seeing this one for the first time was like, damn. I think this did inspire me for the Thankskilling episodes. I was like, fuck, because I've already seen the other ones, but this one in particular was just like, damn, this was good. To really put you in that position, how many ICBMs would you rate it?
I would definitely. I would say 9 out of 10 is really good.
Yeah.
At least an 8, probably a 9.
Yeah,
Let's go 8.5 ICBMs.
yeah,
But the acting was spot on, really, for what they were playing, minus a couple shitty characters.
Yeah,
I think when you have a big ensemble like that, you're going to have that.
yeah. The Doctor,
Look at The Stand. There were some couple shitty actors in that too.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Hey, now.
Well, we didn't really even talk about how weird it was to see the zombie people sitting in the dude. Like, what were they eating?
And they weren't zombie people. They
Yeah,
were just
yeah,
a
yeah.
family that was like fucking tired.
But what were they eating?
I don't know.
Were they eating his wife? What the
They
fuck
were
was
eating
that?
apples.
No. I'm not talking about them.
Oh.
They're the ones that shot the dude.
Oh, gotcha.
Were they eating a side of beef, a horse, fucking something left over?
Campbell's? Yeah, I don't
know what the fuck.
Maybe they were
'cause
chuds.
He's like, hey, yeah, they're like, hey, get off my land. They're like,
Yeah.
damn, he's gone. But
forgot
yeah,
about
no, yeah.
But they obviously that's the other thing too.
You would have
there's a lot of what happens after the fact and what you're going to be dealing with like through that nuclear winter.
right,
You know?
because no matter how long you have it, I mean, the Earth is dead at that point because you've destroyed it with nuclear radiation.
I don't know if the Earth is dead, but you've definitely affected some ecology. The Earth's pretty strong. It'll
Yeah.
shake stuff off. It might take 1,000 years,
Yeah.
a million years.
How
but
long?
it's still going to be around.
How long does it take for? Well, I mean, shit, fucking Chernobyl is still all fucked up.
Sure.
But yeah, maybe
on 300 ICP.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's so crazy to think that we live through stuff like that, and not necessarily a nuclear war, but the fear of nuclear war and the fear that we could all get destroyed. We still have that there, but it's not the same way. It's like we expect Michael Jordan to come out and dunk on a fool, if fucking, so if Kim Jong-un fires a missile or some shit like that, he takes out a tennis racket and like, back at you, bitch.
That would, is that the Star Wars program? Remember that from the 80s?
Shit,
He's
yeah.
going to have satellites that shot down nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a real genius. Val Kilmer was working on that project.
Right.
And Eyebrows McGee.
Right.
But overall, the fucking movie was scary as fuck because it was so real. You get into the characters, you get into the effects are really just not that great.
No, I mean, it's 1983. Of course they're not.
Yeah, and they used water and ink. But they really put it out there. They put everything out there to be like, yeah, if this really goes away, everybody thinks it's going to go, let's stop. And I don't know if it really did directly influence Reagan to start nuclear disarmament across the country, but it was there.
Very impactful from what I read. So
yeah, I don't know if it's really necessarily an urban legend that happened, but he saw it and was like, "Wait a minute, we can't do this to the country."
What I read, I mean, it was pretty specific. Like he watched it a month before it aired, and they showed it to these people and these people. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I mean. There's the other couple of movies that we're going to talk about too, deal with a lot of this stuff too, but from different viewpoints.
Yeah, different points of view for sure.
Which is so crazy. If you watch them all in a row, you're like, God damn, that's fucked up. Right? For real. Fuck, man, we could really lose everything. And it really hits you in a way, like you said, just that very powerful moment of them sitting there together at the end of their lives, at the end of whatever, and they're just like, we got nothing else except for us.
So apparently Reagan wrote in his diary about this film.
Really?
He said that it was very effective and left me greatly depressed.
Damn.
And that it changed his mind on prevailing policy on nuclear war.
Damn.
So that's
fucking
badass. Yeah, it was screened that I was talking earlier. I found the piece, and it said that it was screened for the Joint Chiefs of Staff as well.
Damn. Do you think they watch it on a big screen?
TV movie? Maybe that's why it was in the ratio that it was filmed in.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in a room with like 80 TVs on it.
Right.
They're like, here's a video cassette. That was the sound of a VCR. I really, if we were the age that we are now watching that movie back then, yeah, we would have already lived through, fucking Nixon and fucking whatever his nuts is, JFK, the Cuban Missile Crisis, all that stuff like that. Now that we're older, looking back at this, yeah, it is a piece of history that we really need to. We don't need to revisit it because it's not as prevalent,
right?
But yet to kind of forget about it.
You can't dismiss it.
Yeah. This should be a really big part of history for us too, to think about this, And there's a lot of things that as a country now that we're doing, we're not paying attention to the one most important thing, which nobody ever does. And I don't understand it. Nobody looks at history.
Right.
If you...
well, somebody does. They're cult historians.
Yeah, but... but in a way that it... but in a way that it should stop people in their tracks. Like looking at like a fucking pandemic.
Well, the problem is all those people look at history through their own lens, right? For instance, like the pandemic, a little different because you can compare, but you can't expect it to be the same, right? But yeah, I think 100% you're right. But to me, it's always in hindsight.
Yeah,
it's never to prepare,
which we should be. We're in the information age to learn about everything.
Sure.
But yeah, we're like, fuck it. We don't need that shit.
We'll just wing it.
Yeah. Let's wing this one. What?
Now, go grab my Fall Guy truck and let's do a Mountain Dew commercial.
Yes. Yeah, money. Yeah. Overall, I love this movie. I love this series that we're doing just because it's just something that has always stuck with me my entire life.
Yeah, it's definitely been something that's kind of outside of the vein of things that we've done in the past.
Big time.
A little more serious.
Yeah. And it is 12:03. We both got to get up early. No, wait, you don't.
No, tomorrow.
Nice. But yeah, really stay tuned. If you can watch this movie kind of keep up with this if you're listening. If you want to watch this movie, watch it on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Just the day after. Even if you look up Steve Gutenberg.
The day after 1983 will get you right there.
1983.
Yep.
100%. You get to watch the whole movie uninterrupted.
Yep. Except
for there might be some fucking MGM fucking betting commercials.
Yeah,
in it.
they're going to have their...
Step 2, put some skin in the game.
But you're only going to have to see 5 seconds of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before you can skip that motherfucker.
Yeah, and it's not broke into 10 parts. Yikes. But yeah, overall good movie. Stay tuned though. We are continuing the Thankskilling series, and maybe next year we might do the same thing. But I think this is something very valid. We need to pay attention to. You need to watch just to kind of get that feeling again. Right. Kind of piss you off and kind of fucking scare you a little bit.
It's funny because we're listed as a comedy podcast.
I know, right? Yeah,
and this is pretty heavy, but no, it is definitely a piece of drop culture.
Yeah. The next one we're gonna do. Which one are we gonna do next? We're gonna do Threads. Threads was the British version of The Day After.
Yeah, sort of.
And it's a fucking great movie, too. That one will scare the fucking shit out of you as well. And then after that, we got Testament.
Yes.
Coming up. And that's a fucking another scary one, too. And then we got By Dawn's Early Light, an HBO movie. Because we were talking about HBO movies on the Quickcast the other day, how good they were. Mm-hmm. Even back then, that was fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy movie. So stay tuned. If you have any experiences with this movie or if you've watched it before and it scared the shit out of you, tell us your story. Send it in an email. Leave a fucking voice message through Google. I don't know. Go to the website and, at dropculture.com. Yeah, just message us.
Or hit us up on the socials, whatever.
Yeah, send us pictures of your favorite scenes. Whatever
That's
you
weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah. Jason Robards leaned on the seat. It's like, my favorite scene was the guy running from his truck. The guy eating his foot. What? All right. Guys, hit us up on all of the socials. Hit us up on everything. Just look up Drop Culture and you're going to find us. And you're going to find us attached to movies like this and good movies too. Great movies because this was a great one.
Yeah, this is a great movie, but, we cover a lot of different genres, I'd say.
Yeah, maybe we get Shout Factory to put together this movie, Threads, all of the
ones we're doing.
The Thankskilling series. Maybe put them on one disc.
You can call it the Thankskilling series. You don't even have to pay us.
Nope. We give that to you, Shout Factory. Thank you.
Now you might get sued by that other people that made that stupid turkey movie.
Yeah, nobody knows that movie. There's like 15 dudes.
They fucking lucked out.
Yeah. Yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night, these nuts. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned for the rest of Thankskilling.
Peace. He's like some cannibalistic Ewok that lives under a trailer.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. This is a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We're talking about The Day After.